Well, Marshall fans are screaming at the clouds again over something that they think Rich Rod said, which really isn't even true. I got 99 reasons, and the turd ain't one.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And what is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. This is Locked On West Virginia, baby. We're having a fun episode, so strap in, and we'll talk about the Marshall Thundering Herd as they scream at the clouds again over something that they imagine West Virginia has said. Oh, joy. Thank you guys for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen, and for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where we talk about your team, the Mountaineers, every single day. Good Lord, man. This episode is going to be brought to you by Game Time. Of course, right now, if you go to Game Time, create an account and use Locked On College for 20% off your first purchase. $20 off your first purchase. My apologies. All right, guys. So Marshall fans are insane. 99 reasons, and the turds aren't one. And my final thoughts are the subjects for today. I never claimed to be a professional journalist. I'm a fan with an account at best some days. No kidding, though. Obviously, I take my job seriously, but I also take life not so seriously sometimes. And I think this is an episode where we can have a little fun over some stuff that Marshall fans are freaking out over that's not even that serious. I just want to get on here and trash them. Is that okay with you guys? Is that okay? We can do that right before the season. We'll probably still talk some football. So the Herd's headset. Have y'all seen this? Marshall. I don't care about Marshall, which is why I've already built an underground bunker stocked with 40 years of beef jerky in case we ever have to play them. If that day comes, you won't find me on the sideline. You'll find me in Paraguay racing alpacas and pretending football was just a dream I once had. West Virginia head coach Rich Rodriguez. You know, obviously West Virginia Sports Talk tried to say it's a fake quote, put the pitchforks down, man. And then here you go. He's been a POS for years. Everyone at the school up north despised him. Then they had to settle for him coming back because no one else wanted the job. Epis for Ephraim. I can appreciate the financial pros and cons of them playing. I think this might be a West Virginia fan. Oh, no. But to act like Marshall could never have rivaled West Virginia is absurd. Marshall beat Notre Dame, but couldn't beat West Virginia. Give me a break. This guy's got a picture of West Virginia down to Marshall 21-6. But how did it end, Jacob? But how did it end? That's the question I want to know. Tell me how it ended. Dude coached at Jacksonville State. That in itself is all I need to know. And Jacksonville State is on the ticket. If they're ever on the ticket to join the Sun Belt Conference, Marshall be on Troy's side. Marshall be on Troy's side. It's best to ignore the ignorance that spews from you spam. I guess that's West Virginia to him. And their ignorant coach. This is what happens when you take a job at an irrelevant school and you have to build up the rhetoric. And people wanted him to come here to coach. I never think about them. Let's go Pitt. Like the dude is a POS. I know some players that play at West Virginia, and sorry to say, I will never watch or root for that team ever because of their fan base and the idiot for a coach. Who cares? He's just a nomad coach being at a wrestling heel in order to become relevant. Like these fans are literally beyond insane, man. The fact that they believe this is the first strike against them. And we share a state with them. So, I mean, we're all a little bit crazy, given to be completely honest. But, yeah, so here Marshall is just blowing up again over basically nothing. A made-up quote that's pretty easy to tell it's made up. Because, like, could anybody ever actually say this? Do you actually think Rich Rod would say this over having to play Marshall? Are you so full of yourself that you think he would be scared to play them? It's not beneficial to play them. That's the problem. It has nothing to do with fear. It's everything to do with beneficial. I don't know why they can't get that through their heads, but they won't. It's just like It's probably not beneficial for us to play a multitude of teams like Ohio University. That was scheduled 10 years ago. I don't know who did it. Is it beneficial to play them? Not really. I mean, it's really not. The teams I want to play are the teams that pay us. But anyway, in this new day and age, maybe, they are saying in this new day and age that adding cream puffs to the schedule is the way to go. So maybe putting Marshall back on would be a good idea in retrospect, because that's for sure the reason they haven't been on it, because we've been too busy playing 2 Power 5 teams a year, Marshall. So, I mean, I get it. You guys play tough games as well. And yeah, you beat Notre Dame, big whoop. Like, give me a break, man. Give me a break. Like, was that even last year? I can't remember. I don't even watch Marshall, to be honest. So what I've done here is I've come up with some reasons, some things that I've kept my notes on it over the last year or so, just because I'm a content creator. I have to have things to talk about. And these are all some things that Marshall has complained about over the last, I don't know, probably a few years. Number one, West Virginia's arrogance and bullying. Greg V, 2006, said that, oh, West Virginia just loves to bully us because we can never be in the Power 5. I don't know when I wrote this down, but I just read this comment and it started a whole thread of comments about it. So I just kind of summed it up like this. Basically, they complain about West Virginia supporters constantly belittling them, calling them junior college or shit-stained program, and that we act superior despite both schools being from the same state. He said this also includes and this is also like bullying accusations from Marshall fans online. And like I said, and in person, they said, even when we were down there, we bullied them. And some are even noting it's one-sided, which is just insane because Marshall brings us up. We don't bring them up, right? That's just the truth. The refusal to play the refusal to renew the rivalry game. That's a little bit of a tongue twister. The refusal to renew the rivalry game. They gripe about West Virginia's unwillingness to schedule games against Marshall, viewing it as West Virginia dodging a challenge, I think, in their minds. Would some of the games be challenging? Yes. I admit that. I've admitted that 1,000 times. Yes. Marshall at certain times, the Rakeem Cato team that went undefeated, absolutely could have beat us. Would they have? I don't know. I don't think they would have. But could they have? Sure. They absolutely could have. I mean, we took the best that their teams had for a little while. They had some good teams when we played them. So it's like, just because we're in the same state don't mean we have to play each other if it don't benefit us. The only team it benefits is them. I mean, it benefits the state, but West Virginia in the Big 12, it doesn't benefit, really. I mean, outside of travel. So, and then obviously Coach Gibby made some comments in April 2025, and now he's got 2027 with the hourglass thing, which is another thing that I haven't got a chance to look into yet. But people are starting to speculate, oh, is that possibly the renewal? I have no clue, guys. No clue. I haven't been able to check on it today, to be honest. Maybe they're talking about it. Maybe they will renew it. I don't care if they do. Rich Rodriguez returned to West Virginia being an hypocrisy is another thing they talk about. They're super bitter over it, whether they want to admit it or not, because of the heights that we went to and how bad they really looked in comparison to us for those 6 or 7 years. So, and that's when they were good. So obviously and especially because he had apparently looked at the Marshall job at one point in time as well, which I'm sure he probably did, right? Just a few weeks earlier. So they accuse him of being a divider, somebody who bashes Marshall to rally West Virginia, which he kind of does a little bit, but it's all he said is, I don't think about them for a second, right? If you think that's bashing, then I guess it's bashing. West Virginia's underperformance compared to Marshall's achievements recent years. They like to point out that West Virginia's recent struggles while highlighting Marshall's success, like beating Notre Dame and other strong group of 5 wins over the last 25 years. And they think West Virginia acts like they're a powerhouse, but hasn't lived up to it. I'll say this. Over the last 6 years with Neil Brown and all that, we've definitely fallen off. There's no doubt. But we're still not Marshall at the end of the day. they say that we're extremely rude online. We're the rudest fan base in all of college football and all that. And then they also say um, that our Big 12 status makes us too good for them, and that we're uppity. So we're too good to play a Sun Belt team. And I think it's unfair that we have no business even being in the Big 12 because the Big East is something like the American Conference to today, they felt like. So it's like we were never really that much different. So this is just nothing but straight envy, in my opinion, over resources and visibility. And it's amplified by some, people put out tier lists and all that. And West Virginia is always placed low here lately. And Marshall thinks that's a joke. They think it's funny. They think it's funny, man. They think it's hilarious that we're little bro, or that they're little bro. That we call them little bro. They don't like it. So at the end of the day, we as fans, all we can do is support our guys, baby. All we can do is worry about the Mountaineers, baby. That's it, right? That's all we can worry about. We can't worry about Marshall too much. I didn't think it would be funny to get on here and post the pictures of them, the thumbnail that I did of the Marshall fans yelling at Rich Rod, screaming at the clouds, because that's what they do. They get outside and they scream at the clouds over it. So, yeah, it's a land grant versus a small university. That's true. Let's go to break, guys. On the other side, I'll freestyle it. I'll take some questions if you guys have any, although there's not a lot of people in right now, about 100. So it's getting late. I understand that on a weekday. Otherwise, I'll freestyle and talk about something. We'll be right back. This is Locked On West Virginia. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by Game Time, guys. And talking about Game Time, we can't forget about how awesome it is to be part of Game Time at Locked On. Right now, if you download Game Time, guys, you're going to benefit because we've all been there. Logging on early and waiting forever for concert tickets to go on sale and you lose your spot for a show that you've been dying to see. It sucks, man. Live music should be without making memories and about making memories, not dealing with the stresses of ticket shopping. That's where Game Time is going to come in for you. Game Time makes getting concert tickets faster and easier than ever. Prices actually drop as it gets closer to showtime. And look, you can save up to 60% off with killer last minute deals if that's what you want. If you're tired of endless scrolling, trying to find the best deal, Game Time's Zone Deals pick has the best seats for you in your section for you. That's right. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets today with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. The terms are going to apply, but create that account, redeem the code LOCKEDON, COLLEGE for $20 off today, and download the Game Time app where you get last-minute tickets for the lowest price, and that's guaranteed. And you'll answer yourself the question of all questions in the meantime. What time is it? It's game time. It's segment 2. Let's crack open this old Code Red Dew that I've had here sitting here all day. Talk about something. We'll see if anybody put a question in the comment box. If not, we'll roll on to something else. Hey, Raven, you just got here from football practice. I hear you. Lysoling, stinky pads, and helmets. Well, that's what you get by being a mommy. If you guys have any questions about anything, let me know. Meanwhile, I'll go ahead and just start talking about something here. What do we want to talk about? I'll tell you what. I'll know what we can do. This is always a fun game to play. Let's go to Google and type in West Virginia football. See what comes up. Okay, let's see. We got all kinds of articles here. Ooh, this is a good article. I like this as a show topic as well. Man, we killed it with this article. This is from Andrew Corbett, who I have not publicly gotten along with, but it's a long story behind that. Unfortunately, the burners tricked me, and I'll admit it, they did. They got me into thinking that he was talking about me, and it's a long story, and I addressed it publicly instead of privately, then made me look like the butt of the joke. They got me on that one, though. So obviously he's not a fan of mine because I called him out publicly over it. So, anyways, he wrote this article, and I don't hold a grudge, but maybe he might, But this is 3 players with All American upside for West Virginia in 2025. One of them's pretty obvious, right? That's Jaheim White, and that's what he has here, Jaheim White. The other one he has is the starting quarterback, whoever that is, Nico Marchiol. We found out today for now, and then Michael Coach Jr. at corner. That's whenever you pick. So whenever you talk about, like, if you pick a Final Four, right, and you go all number 1 seeds, that's what they call all chalk, right? Oh, you went all chalk on that, right? That's kind of what I feel like he did with these picks, kind of all chalk. You're going with Jaheim White, the starting quarterback, which is that's not necessarily all chalk, but I do feel like All American upside for a quarterback, that's a pretty big risk. So I'll say 2 of the 3 were all chalk. Obviously, Michael Coach Jr., I believe, has a chance to be an All American as well. Actually, I think he's got a chance. Not first team. I would be surprised if he were that good, but maybe like honorable mention or second team, maybe third. I do think he's that good. I think he's good enough to be first, but I don't know if West Virginia, without having some kind of an insane season, could ever have a guy like at corner at first team. But anyway, Raven wants to know, am I going to do a Pitt breakdown and show pros and cons to players we need to keep an eye on? I mean, I could do, obviously I do that for Pitt week, during Pitt week. And I'll bring a Pitt guy on to kind of talk about them. But I mean, if you're talking about like, I could do like I could do one team a day leading up to, or one team every other day or something like that leading up to the season. I could definitely do that. Actually, we're almost to the point where I can do one a day. We could probably do something like that. Yeah, I'll do something like that. That's fine. I don't care to do that. I can either do it as a topic or an entire show, even, but probably a topic. I could run through Pitt and what they've got going on in probably 10 or 15 minutes. Now, if I bring somebody on, I can make it a show. But I've already started to reach out to some people about preseason. But maybe I need to. Actually, another show I need to do is I need to have somebody on to do a full on season preview. Like where I have somebody to talk to and bounce it off of that knows West Virginia. You guys let me know in the comments who you want that to be. I don't mind to bring Kuz on. I don't know if he wants to or not. I'm not saying that he does or he don't. I'm just saying I don't know if he can, because I know that he's a real busy person, so it may not be able to be him. There's also obviously Jordan. There's some of the other guys like Fox, which I've had on. Hell, might even be able to get Joey to come out of retirement to come on for a little while. So, guys, I've been in this seat all day. So, anyways, yeah, that would be a good question. Ask Pitt how they feel about leaving the ACC for Big 12. That's a great question, Blake. All right, so 3 players with All-American potential. This is an interesting one for me, because if you look at it, let's go to Grok really quick, or actually right here, the Herds headset again. All-American potential is different, because if you look at it from the standpoint of, let's go here. Maybe. I don't know. Is that how I spell his name? Did I spell it wrong? Darren Lloyd. Let me make sure I got it right. Actually, it's right here somewhere. Let me get it, because I think this is I'm just going to kind of pick a couple guys that I think could come out of nowhere. Like, obviously, are they big time names to know? I mean, that's something I can't say. But if you want to talk about a name that you could maybe know, I'll go with if I can find him on here really quick. Obviously, I wasn't prepared for this segment as much, huh? All right, safeties. Because I've done many shows on this guy. Well, at least one that I know of. So let's see. There it is. Darren Lewis. I said Lloyd, didn't I? Sorry, y'all. I screwed up on that. So Darren Lewis is the name that I was looking for. All right. So let's pull back in here. I don't know why I said Lloyd for. That was my bad. So Darren Lewis is where we need to be. All right. So it's kind of tough sometimes when these guys haven't played a game yet, you know? All right. Lewis. I don't know why, man, but it's just sometimes you just have the hardest time finding names on here. Like I typed it in right. Maybe I spelled it wrong though. All right. There it is. He follows me and everything, so you would think like um that this would be somebody that I would know more about, but obviously I know about him. It's just he hasn't played a snap for us yet. And I know this. I love his tape. I love it. To the point to where I think he's got, if you want to talk about somebody who's got all Big 12, I don't say want to say all American necessarily, but if you want to talk about somebody I think that has potentially all Big 12 potential and maybe a little more, this is the guy, man. I'll show you why. Darren Lewis can absolutely go. I would love to see the depth chart, but he can play, man. And I'm excited about Darren Lewis. As you can see here, he plays great at the safety spot. You see how quick he comes downhill? I mean, he flies downhill, y'all. I would love to know what his 10-yard splits are. I bet it's quick. You got to think, man, we got two players from this defense. And I know a guy that loves both guys immensely. So we got Golden Nelson, we got Darren Lloyd both. You know, so I mean, Darren Lloyd's an excellent tackler, but he's excels in coverage. He excels in everything. Look at the hustle running down the field here. I don't know why this one's so dark, this play, but yeah, here we go. Darren Lloyd, I think, is right here. No, he's right here. So that's playing two plays back to back on there. Nice run fit. There's another nice run fit. Here he is in coverage. Here he's coming up to make a tackle. Boom. Nice tackle. Here he is in coverage again. Now that's a great play, right? I mean, I love that play. I think it shows it from a little better angle here. I think he drops it here. He drops the pick, but I mean, if you want to look at the way he cuts off the quarterback here, so you know, I talked about this play once before, but I mean, you look at the quarterback's eyes, right? They're going this way, then they move over here, and then they focus in on this receiver. So you got 1, 2. So he hits a second read, right? So look where he's releasing this ball. He's trying to fit this thing into a window, right? You got the ref here, you got the linebacker here, you got Darren Lloyd over the top. Look at the angle Darren Lloyd takes to the ball, and that tells you all you need to know about his ball skills. I mean, it's a heck of an angle. And I mean, you want to talk about almost getting that pick. He almost did. I mean, he had it in his hands. He should have had it. Here he is off the edge. He flies off the edge. He's another guy I think can blitz for us this upcoming year. Look how deep he is here. And he can really, really backpedal. That's why whenever they had, you know, I don't know if I think they've had some of these positional coaches on. I would love to hear them ask about Darren Lloyd, man. I don't think they would. I don't think that they want us to even know about him yet. But and like I went on the squad show earlier. I can't talk about Darren Lloyd. Nobody in the world knows who he is, you know, outside of his family and people from Akron. Outside of that, not many people know about him, you know. But like he's one of those guys that come to my mind whenever I think of somebody that if I'm looking for an underrated dude that can possibly get to that level of, okay, this dude's all Big 12 or all American status, I really do believe Darren Lewis has got a chance to do that. I know it's not a popular thing to say, but a lot of times these things aren't popular, man. And just keep an eye out on Darren Lewis in game day. We'll see if he gets a starting job first and foremost. But I love this kid. I love what he's got going on. I think he's got a lot of talent. So, all right, guys, that's all I got for tonight. I think we're going to go ahead and jump off it here. Um, Internet's kind of hanging on by a thread, and I've done multiple shows today, so may as well just come back for another one tomorrow and take the rest of the night off. I do appreciate you guys so much for being here. Make sure you like the video before you go. Subscribe if you're new around here. Share the video out, and I'll see you guys tomorrow bright and early. We'll do something. It's football season, man. We're getting there. We're getting close. I'll see you guys then. Good night.